This is the real story most fans and readers probably don't know. News Corp and the NRL have been going toe-to-toe with each other for the best part of a year over the NRL's $150 million spend on a new digital arm. News, which also owns subscription TV broadcaster Fox Sports, considers the move to be an encroachment on their standing as the apparent voice of the game. The NRL argues it has every right to set up its own media service just like the AFL. Which, of course, it does. Free-to-air broadcaster Channel 9 also expressed its dissatisfaction last year about the NRL's beefed-up digital arm, but it hasn't been anywhere near as cranky as News. There was a series of meetings between Greenberg and News executives all last year. They were still arguing a few weeks ago when Greenberg met with News Corp Australia Executive Chairman Michael Miller. Miller was apparently insistent that NRL.com should be about stats and the drawn player profiles. In other words, not a robust competitor to the telly. The message about NRL.com at Monday's commission meeting was positive. While head office guards its figures about these sort of things quite closely, it's believed the website's audience is up 15% compared to last year. Given the massive spend, the numbers would want to be on the up. There are many at the NRL who believe the torrid attack on Greenberg from News in recent months is the media giant's direct response to its new digital strategy. Loading, there's probably some truth in it. News has a history of being a bully when it doesn't get its way. It walked away as half-owners so the independent commission could be formed in 2012, but now wants to wrap its tentacles around rugby league once more. The NRL is still prepared on some days to get pushed around like the smallest kid in the playground, much like a lot of its clubs. Last month's announcement about the NRL striking a deal with the Victorian government to host 2 Origins and 2 Test matches over the next 8 years in exchange for a $12 million Centre of Excellence was leaked to News Corp. The NRL says it was the Victorian government's idea, but Greenberg or whoever was responsible should have played hardball and explained that News had been punching him in the game in the head for months, so how about we just hold a press conference? The peacemaker in all of this could be new Commissioner Peter V'landys, the racing NSW chief executive who is often described as someone who would prefer a fight than a feed. Monday's commission meeting was only V'landys' second, but he's already getting his hands dirty. It's been suggested that V'landys has eyes on Greenberg's office. He'd certainly do a good job, but there's already a prevailing feeling across the game he will have Peter Beattie's chairmanship sooner than later. That would certainly appease News Corp, which has a very strong relationship with the racing administrator, who has signed off on multi-million-dollar contracts to promote his sport in its newspapers. For the record, Fairfax Media also has a commercial relationship with Racing NSW, but for a smaller amount. As this column has written before, V'landys won't be sitting on the commission so he can stand on a post-match stage. He won't be standing in front of cameras. He doesn't tweet. What he will do is ruthlessly cut spending where needed. He'd prefer NRL executives to use Opal cards instead of corporate cards. Peacemaker? ARL Commissioner Peter V'landys. Photo, Anthony Johnson. What's interesting is that he's already voiced many concerns about the profitability of NRL Digital and its ability to wash its face. In the meantime, the battle between News and the NRL shows no sign of abating. Pass the popcorn. Greenberg first mooted the wasn't calling on the media to talk up the game is too good and matters to so many people, he said. So as players, officials and coaches, when you get the chance, talk the game up. The role of the media, whether it's sport or politics or any round, isn't to talk up the game. It's to report, analyze, comment. We're reporters, not cheerleaders. Could you imagine Roy Masters holding pom-poms? Yes, so can I. Those aggressive Telegraph reporters and columnists thundering away at Greenberg are like many in the rugby league media who see some real issues that need addressing, along with the great stories, too. We see the bravery of Eels hooker Caser Pritchard whacking blokes double his size, but also the gibberish of what's happening at Manly. And we see a game that should be run better than it is because most of us who cover the game also love the game. We want the best for the game. It's true, nobody ever ran rugby league from a press box. But if the NRL wants better stories, it should run the game better than it is.